You're always in competition with others when you're not yourself. But the moment you're yourself, there's no competition because you're totally unique. And that is the quote of the day. Welcome back to the Quote of the Day show. I'm your host, Sean Croxton of SeanCroxton.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to our Wednesday episode. Today's speaker is Dr. John Demartini. Yes, he is back. And I love all of these speakers. They are incredible speakers. They are excellent at what they do. But I'll be honest, Dr. John Demartini is my favorite speaker of all time. This guy is incredible. I probably told you this before, but I take these walks around my neighborhood, about an hour-long walk every day around my neighborhood, and I'm listening to some motivational speaker along the way. And it's the days that I'm listening to John Demartini on my walk are the days when that walk just flies by. Like I'll get back in front of my house and I will just keep on walking until he's done speaking. So John Demartini keeps me in shape, and I hope that you love his talks just as much as I love them. In this clip, he talks about loving yourself. Why is it so hard for us to love ourselves? Of course, he talks about values because that's his expertise. And he also talks about how we limp through life instead of walking our talk. And so without further ado, here's Dr. John Demartini.
As I said, nobody has to get me up in the morning to do my talks or to do my research or to do my writing. I can't wait to do that. I look forward to doing that. When I get time off, whatever that means, from doing that, I do that. Does that make sense? When people come up to me and they say, "What do you do to chill out, man?" The same thing I do when I'm on fire. Can you relate to that? Because when you're doing something you love and loving what you do, you just do it. You don't need, see, most people have what they call Monday morning blues, which means they have to go back to doing something that's not inspiring to them. Wednesday hump days, which means, oh God, I'm halfway through this friggin' week. Thank God it's friggin' Friday, and week friggin' ends. What a way to live your life. And they work so they can someday retire to get away from what is not inspiring to them, so they can shortly die afterwards because they basically ran against their own wall in life. And I'm amazed at how many people live subordinating to other people. I'm here to say the magnificence of who you really are, what your real values are, is more magnificent than any fantasy you'll ever impose or inject into your life. The magnificence of who you are is more magnificent than any injected fantasy you'll ever inject into your life. I was 25 years ago, I had the opportunity to do a program and step on the stage at a program by Louise Hay. And Louise Hay and their publishing company is the one that's produced all my books. Just about all my books have done by Hay House. And almost 26 years ago, she was doing a program in Houston, Texas. I was attending this program, and I got up on the stage. And what she did is she had people come up on stage and stand in front of a mirror and look at the mirror, and they had to tell the mirror that I love you. Now, I was amazed. So many people had difficulty doing this. I couldn't comprehend it. I was standing in line kind of going, let's go. Come on, hurry up. Come on. And there were people standing up there and they go, I love myself. I can't do it. And people having difficulty loving themselves. And I'm getting up there. Come on. I get up there and they go, yeah. And I was amazed at how many people had difficulty doing that. I always say, if you don't love yourself, why the hell are you expecting somebody else to love you? Does that make any sense? Well, listen, every time you set a goal that doesn't match your real values and you don't go around doing it and you need motivation all the time because you're disempowered because of it, you're not going to feel great about yourself. You're not going to awaken your genius. You're not going to awaken up the possibilities. You're not going to be living with the stars. You're going to be living with the scars. You're not going to be master of your destiny. You're going to be victim of your history. because you set unrealistic expectations on yourself. And I watched people, one by one, stand up there who had a life surrounded by that environment. And I didn't want to look at themselves because in their memory, whatever I say, I don't do. I'm limping my life instead of walking my talk. And so their confidence is down and their image of themselves is down because anytime you set up a fantasy about other people's lives and expect yourself to live according to those value systems, you're going to minimize yourself relative to it, and your self-esteem is going to be distorted, and you're going to miss out on the magnificent you that's sitting there. But the moment you set goals that are congruent or values that are congruent with goals, you come alive. You come out and shine. Your confidence goes up. And that's what Louise Hay was trying to do, is trying to help them see that in her own way, with their own strategy. But I found out that not everybody loved to stand in front of the mirror and say, hey, baby, you're looking hot. But I'm always amazed that if we can't, why should somebody else think that? And why shouldn't we think that? We're magnificent people. We're all unique. You know, you're always in competition with others when you're not yourself. But the moment you're yourself, there's no competition. Because you're totally unique. Because you're living according to your highest values, your highest priorities. And you're going to end up being subordinated to these people you give power to, and you're not giving yourself permission to shine. You're shrinking, not shining. In the Breakthrough Experience program that I do, one of the exercises I do on Sunday is we actually take the most powerful people that we imagine on the planet in each of the 7 areas of life. Our spiritual leaders, our mind geniuses, our career success people, our people that are wealthy, family, empowered families, social leaders, physical health and wellness leaders. And we go and take the people we look up to, whoever they are. We write them down, the names, and then we write down all the character traits that make them up, that we admire. And then we go find out, where do I have that? See, we have everything we see. We couldn't see it if we didn't have it. The seer, the seeing, and the seen are always the same. But we minimize ourselves thinking the way they have it is better than us and not honor the way we have it. We're too humble to admit what we see in them is inside us. So we don't empower and realize that inside us. So then that's when we subordinate to them, thinking we should be more like them. But Emerson, the philosopher in the United States, said, envy is ignorance and imitation is suicide. The magnificence of who we are, it's wiser to go find out. That's why in that program I ask people, what exactly do you think that you have admiration about, and find out where you have it inside you. And find out to the same degree as you see in them. It's got to be 100%. And when you own it and you wake it up, you realize that your hierarchy of values, your set of priorities, are creating your unique form of that trait. And that form is just as magnificent as anybody else's. The difference, the reason why they're there and we're not, is because they've acknowledged their uniqueness and you haven't. They're selling and capitalizing their uniqueness and you haven't. But there's nothing missing in you. Every weekend in the Breakthrough Experience, I have people who think that they're missing traits. Traits they despise or admire. And I show them with proof until they're certain that they cannot see things in other people that they don't have within themselves. Some they're too proud to admit that they see in others. Some they're too humble to admit what they see in others. But in fact, whatever they see, they've got. Now the power of that is that we then can awaken the traits that we have in denial. And then stand strong in the realization of that expression. So the second we actually see we have it, and we don't minimize ourselves to others, we allow ourselves to take our conscious and unconscious and merge them back together. We're integrated. We're whole. The true morals and ethics is not, well, I'm dedicated to truth and integrity. It's living it. It's not something you think about, it's something you live. So anytime you're minimizing yourself to others, you split yourself, you're not integral. The second you acknowledge what you see in them is inside you to the same degree, and you now are equal to them. See, nobody's worth putting on pedestals or pits, but everybody's worth putting in hearts. And once we realize the things around us are reflections of us, then the things that they give us the opportunity to love that part of us and embrace that. The moment we do, we give ourselves permission to set goals that truly inspire us, that we're willing to do whatever it takes, travel whatever distance, and pay whatever price to go do them. And then we give ourselves permission to go out and do it and live it. And nobody has to get us up in the morning to go live it. Like I said, if you need motivation, you haven't tapped into it.
All right, that was Dr. John Demartini. You can learn more about him at drdemartini.com. That's drdemartini.com. And if you're interested in learning what your highest values are, you can do his value determination process over at drdemartini.com/values. It's totally free. And you can also learn about his Breakthrough Experience live program that he does pretty much every weekend around the world. I know he does it in Australia and in Houston, Texas, and other places. And one more time, you can learn more about that at drdemartini.com. I will see you tomorrow. I've got another Bob Proctor clip, so stay tuned for that. I will see you then. Peace.